We're raising the minimum wage. We're going to make college debt-free for all. With your help, we're going to make it so future students won't have to borrow a dime. We're going to make sure Wall Street corporations and the super rich pay their fair share of taxes. Let's expand Social Security to match today's realities, not cut or privatize it.
My political power panel is with me now. Democratic strategist Richard Goodstein, former H.W. Bush deputy campaign director Mark Serrano, Republican strategist Gianno Caldwell. Thank you all. Doubling down on big government spending. Gianno, what's your take?
Well, I think since we're $19 trillion in debt and Hillary Clinton seems to want to give everything away, she wants to really take on this third term of President Obama, which has caused 102 million people to be outside of the labor force. And that includes 58% of African Americans who are either unemployed or outside the labor force. So I think she has a big issue on her hands. She's trying to replicate herself as a Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, or President Barack Obama third-term candidate, and I don't think it's going to work out too well for her.
Richard, I want to ask you, Richard Holtz-Eakin made a comment recently saying Donald Trump is confusing a lot of Republicans because he is campaigning like a Democrat. He has said that if spending goes wider, it's okay if it's for veterans benefits and some other infrastructure and defense spending. What is your perspective on that?
I do have to say one thing to your viewers. I listened to Tony Shaffer. What he said is utter nonsense about this whole vetting thing, just so people shouldn't walk away deceived. I was much closer to Hillary at the Democratic convention. I wasn't vetted. It's nonsense what he said. With respect to your question, the fact of the matter is if what Hillary Clinton was doing was so bad for the federal trough, you wouldn't have Warren Buffett and Michael Bloomberg and Mark Cuban and you name the list of billionaires that have run huge corporations that have been job creators and have created economic wealth. They look at Donald Trump and they have said to a one, what he's doing is absolutely irresponsible, as has Moody's Analytics.
Richard, I'm just talking about the economic plan.
Okay, I'm talking about the economic plan.
The income tax code from 7 to 3. There are a lot of people who say, listen, what he's doing are the ideas that the House Republicans have put forward for a long time, and that it makes sense.
Deirdre, I hope this election is a controlled experiment, and we're having that. We had the Clinton economics, right? We did have a tax increase, 23 million new jobs, most robust economic growth. We had the Bush tax cuts. Remember all the growth that was promised? Biggest economic collapse that we've had since the Depression. Barack Obama, 77 straight months of private sector job creation. I pray.
Richard, what about labor force participation rate? And Richard, I'm just looking at the numbers. There are still a lot of people who have just given up.
They haven't. They've retired. That's a myth. People. That's a myth. 20,000 people every day are getting. Oh, they're retiring.
Hold on, one at a time, because I want to hear both of your points. Richard, finish your point. Mark, I'm coming to you next.
We hear this business about these people who have gotten out of the labor force. These are people who have hit retirement age. It so happened. If you look, hold on a second. Let me finish the point.
Mark, hold your fire. We'll get you here.
If you look at the age of baby boomers when Barack Obama became president, right? These people were expected to hit retirement age, and they did. So this is a big myth. And honestly, I hope Fox viewers continue and Donald Trump continues to believe this stuff, because the rest of the public is not buying it.
It's going to be a contrast, Richard. Deirdre, we've got such a distinct contrast in this race, which is magnificent. Look, Richard's talking about the Clinton era. We are now experiencing the 8th year of the Obama era, all right? And what that means is people who are have lost wages. They are not enjoying the benefits of this economy like Warren Buffett, who is a redistributionist.
I'm sorry to cut you off. We just want to show some video, something that's happening here. I'm going to come back to you, Mark, because I want to talk about the economy. There is a man we were reporting who is climbing Trump Tower right now using suction cups. He's been at it for more than 20 minutes, and he seems to be evading the police, but NYPD now breaking glass in an effort to cut him off. He supposedly has papers with Donald Trump's name on it. So it is it is being judged, obviously, to be a real security concern. Traffic in Midtown, very much perturbed by this. But our viewers can see him now, basically with the suction cups. He's at about the 5th floor level. They can also see where the police have broken through a window, put a sort of towel or blanket over the broken glass, and as our viewers can see, are engaging him in a conversation. But again, he seems to actually be stuck the more that we follow his progress. He has these 4 suction cups, and at least one of them does not seem to be moving as he would like. But police very clearly treating this as a security threat to Donald Trump, or at least to the building, and are engaging him in conversation. When you see these kinds of scenes, and obviously people feel so strongly about both candidates, in fact, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have historically among some of the highest negative ratings. Giano, you are a young person who supports the Republican Party, supports Donald Trump. Why is he so controversial at this point?
Where you want. Why Donald Trump is so controversial. And I think to some degree he has caused it on himself by some of the things that he has said, some of the things that I don't agree with. He has to keep the conversation on policy. Now, to Richard's point on a number of fronts, when he mentioned Hillary Clinton, I was an advance guy for Mitt Romney's campaign in 2012. You do vet the people that are behind you, so that is completely not true. And the fact that you say 102
this was an open event, Giano. That's not true. Maybe Romney did.
102 million people are outside the labor force or unemployed at this point. So you're telling me that my cousins on the south side of Chicago, Pookie and Tyrone, they are and somehow retired, or it's a big myth for them? I think not. So you should really check your facts before you come on this network and state things that are not true and not supported by data.
No, they're absolutely true. I'm sorry that your cousins are unemployed, okay? But that's not a question of people removing themselves from the labor force. That's been a largely.
Richard, you're wrong.
It's not about. Hold on. I want to get back to the conversation about economics.
This is not about Pookie and Tyrone.
I just want to highlight the climber who is, the New York Post is calling him Spider-Man. He is basically in the 20s. He's reached a higher level, but as our viewers can see, he is engaged in conversation with the police. The police did break the glass. They have put a kind of towel or blanket around the broken glass area, and I am assuming, encouraging, as the New York Post has called him, Spider-Man, to come in from his climb here. And as our viewers can see, he has taken essentially 4 suction cups and a harness, a climbing harness, and we don't know his motive. But obviously, NYPD is treating it as a security threat. So we can see the climber now in a conversation with NYPD by the window. We do know that some broken glass did fall to the street around. The street is closed. There's a huge traffic jam in Midtown Manhattan. So obviously, the police trying to keep people away from this area, especially given the fact that broken glass has fallen in about the past 20 minutes due to the police breaking through this window. So Trump, by the way, does have offices on the top floors of this building, Trump Tower on 5th Avenue. It's on 56th Street for locals. And as you can see, the climber is engaged in a conversation with NYPD. Richard, Mark, Giano, we're going to leave it there for today. We're going to take it up tomorrow, as you know.